Yeah,
All right.
anytime.
Hello, welcome to the latest episode of Apple Arcade. I'm sorry, I gotta say, originally I was gonna want to, talk about the Steam Link, which is this thing that would let you
Don't be
stream.
sorry.
Well, it was cool because you would be able to take it from a PC and then be able to play it on your freaking iPhone. So I've always wanted to play Witcher 3 on my iPhone, and this is what I was gonna do. But
That's not to say we eventually won't get to it.
we will, and we'll probably make it next week or something like that. But we couldn't do it because apparently it's stuck in Apple's approval process. So who knows where that will go? I asked Valve for a code, but you know how that goes. So what we're going to do today is the early access for people who pre-ordered for Elder Scrolls Online Somerset expansion that opened today. The actual, the real game releases on June 5th, so that's actually quite a bit of early access time. But we got in, so we're going to be playing that today and showing you what it's like. And you might recall a couple of weeks ago, I actually wrote a preview of it for both Macworld and PC World, and which I actually saw a lot of the content we're doing today. It's you know. I literally just loaded this on my Mac. So, and here's one thing that you have to worry about. If you do get this expansion with the whole game in there, it takes up a whopping 73.2 gigabytes on this MacBook Pro, and it only has 250 on there. I had to uninstall World of Warcraft. I had to uninstall Pillars of Eternity 2. I think I was thinking about dumping Photoshop. It gives you an idea that, you got to prepare for this game to hog up a lot of room on your hard drive. But the thing is, if you are interested in getting it, what we're going to do today, you actually have a chance to get this. So later on in the stream, I'm going to post up a code for the digital collector's edition, and it's a really cool thing. You get the Somerset, you get the base game, you get a mount, you get this pet, you get some emotes, and normally this is $60. I believe on its own the expansion costs $40, so it's a good deal, and that's it's a good deal when I say from 40 to 60 because with the collector's edition, you're getting the whole game. It's not just that. And I believe that there's a chance right now that you'll also get the Morrowind expansion, which was amazing. I loved it. But they said that's only for pre-orders. I have to admit, I don't know if that works. But hey, you're getting a $60 value for free if you are able to enter this in. The way it's going to do, I'll put the code up on the screen. I'll give you plenty of time, and basically you go, and
Yeah.
have at it and try
Yeah.
to enter it in. But I will say at the beginning of the of our show here, if you are new to Elder Scrolls Online and this interests you, I would make an account right now because that's what you're going to have to do is go through the account page and you'll see that on the
Oh,
announcement
that's a good
posted.
question. So if someone, before we give away the code, like, people are like, how do I get set up so that I can activate it? Like, because if it's like, oh shit, I gotta like create a new account. You're not gonna win, right? You're gonna
Exactly.
lose
So
someone
that's
else.
why I'm giving you this time
All
right
right.
now. You have plenty of time to go set up an account. If you look on the link that we made
Yeah.
for the post on on our Macworld Twitter where I announced it, I give you a link to the account management page, and over on the left side of the left bar, you will see something that says redeem code or something, and that's what you will plug this code into. And boom, if it all goes well, and you're the first
Yeah.
person into that code, you'll get all
Yeah,
this.
and we're doing it this way because we are working on doing giveaways later.
Yes.
So we're working with our own legal team to figure out, exactly, what we have to put in for legal to say it's a giveaway, it's a contest, all that kind of business. But in the meantime, we're just revealing the code for this one, and it's kind of it's a fair game. Whatever happens, happens.
Right.
So in the future, we will be doing more giveaways for games and stuff. Macworld as a whole, we'll be giving away phone cases and things that we review. So definitely stay tuned for that. That should be happening pretty soon. But for now, you get to kind of like fist fight everyone else on the internet for the code later.
It's basically like when you see people post codes on Twitter or something like, here's a bunch of codes, guys, go
Yeah.
for it. Yeah. So
That's
We're-
we're only giving away one,
It's
but
only
like
one,
if there
yeah.
was like three,
Yeah.
like the trick is like don't put the first one right because too many
Right.
people are gonna go for the Jedi. So
And then the problem is, though, sometimes I've actually seen it in one case where the first one hadn't been taken yet because so many people were thinking that way.
yeah,
So, but
game theory.
right, exactly. So let's jump in. So this is Elder Scrolls Somerset. It's
right.
been about a year since the
I'll
first,
switch to your screen.
and we've been about a year since the Morrowind expansion. And see, okay, this is the only time I ever see any kind of nasty stuff of my Mac on here. Just that opening bit where it looks all ugly like that. But overall, it runs pretty well. And you might recall that when I wrote my preview of Somerset, it did not run very well. I'll be honest with you. Most of the, it was so bad. I did a lot of it on my PC because there was all this stuff all over the screen. However, they seem to have fixed it, so I'm happy to see that. And looks quite beautiful, and it runs quite well in this. Okay. I got to do my.
Oh, switch away from you.
Yeah, my factor
Okay.
authorization.
All right.
So,
Now we're on
okay.
your face, your beautiful face. Slave.
So, yes. Okay, so there you go. This is the way you keep your account safe, guys.
Okay. This is just a two-factor thing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So,
So-
give me a bit. Da-da-da. See, the problem is, I don't even know what the... Okay, there it is. All right. So...
So yeah, if you're trying to get the code later, maybe turn off two-factor because that might be another step that'll
Exactly.
slow you down. Be like, oh, I have to wait for this email. Hopefully they don't have to install anything, but I don't.
Oh,
think
no,
so.
no, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you totally don't have to. Boom. Okay. So let's make sure that it isn't saying you entered it wrong or something like that. So
And I will say we are streaming live to both Twitter and YouTube. You might want to double check which one is. I don't know which one's faster. So just so I might give you an extra 5 seconds to be like making sure you're on the right platform. Just another heads up.
that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Switch back to you.
Yeah, you can go
Yep.
back. To
All right. Back onto this load page.
And if it will load. And this is all loading super fast when I was at my desk a minute ago when I was on our landline.
And
but,
I'm not too familiar with Elder Scrolls. So what
Really?
can you tell me about Elder Scrolls?
Okay, well, Elder Scrolls is, these days one of the most popular RPG series, and the games that are most, it goes way back to the early 90s, and they were a lot simpler games like Arena. And that Arena is the one that were Somerset, the area that we're seeing, was originally focused. But most people know it from the Bethesda's open world, over the shoulder, first person, depending on how you play games.
So it's like WoW style.
Well, it's Skyrim.
Okay.
It's Oblivion, and it's Morrowind, and so it's very much this world. Now, the thing was, when Elder Scrolls Online first came out, they tried too hard to be kind of like
Oh, hello there.
World of Warcraft and stuff. So it was, you had really set zones with. This is where you go, and it was very much in order and stuff. So this time, now after a couple of changes, they've made it to where you have, it's like an Elder Scrolls game. That's the beauty of
Okay.
an Elder Scrolls line. It's
Okay.
very open. So it's like if I'm playing Skyrim or something, I
Okay.
want to go see what's over in this direction.
Ah,
You're free to go
okay.
into it. So you're not just stuck in there like you are with other ones.
This is the MMO version of Skyrim.
To make it simple, yes.
Okay.
And and stuff, you'll see character interactions where they're reminding of.
So a lot of people mod Skyrim, but you can't mod this, I'm assuming.
You can do little things like damage meters and stuff, the typical MMO
Yeah.
stuff. But I'm not going to be able to make a house appear over by this rock like you
Okay.
could with Skyrim with a mod.
So is this the very beginning, or you're in midway into?
I am actually. This is a high level zone, but I'm going to show how.
Fancy.
And
So
I
is
got-
this a way? Okay, is this an expansion the way that like World of Warcraft expands, where it's just like, oh, we opened up a new territory and now you have higher levels?
It is not, actually.
Okay.
And that's another beauty of Elder Scrolls Online. This is actually a game where, remember how I said they were making it more like Skyrim and it's just choose your own adventure, basically? There are like in-game raids and people, want to make sure that you're right level for that and that you factor in champion points.
Okay.
It gets pretty technical. But the idea is that you could get this code basically and start playing this content immediately.
And do you start, like, what level do you start at?
You can start at level 0. You
Okay.
would literally start with the.
Everyone starts at level 0.
Well, they made a tutorial for
Okay.
this, a specialized tutorial for this, and which it focuses on the Sigic Order, which is if you play Skyrim, you'll be familiar with that.
Hello there.
And but no, that's the beauty of this is, you know, I'm very high level. I got level 255
Yeah.
champion points and stuff. But I'm you know, I'm also. But I could also see this when I'm level 0. So I'm at this. I believe I'm in Craglorn. So it gives you an idea.
So what level are you at right now?
I am. You know, I'm at the. I believe it's 50 would be the level cap. But then they have what's champion.
So you've already
points.
level capped.
Yeah. So I'm. You know, the champion points these days reach into the 700. So I'm at 255. But trust me, that's still a lot of play time. That's several characters leveled and stuff. So the way that you get into the expansion once you've gotten the code is you're going to go over here to collections. And you can also just teleport there, but this is the way you're supposed to do it. So you see where it says stories, and it says, by royal decree, the once forbidden island of the High Elves has been opened, and its crystal tower drawing travelers to its light. But dark forces from beyond and below are also interested in the mystic location in this new chapter set in the Somerset Island. So accept the quest, and there it goes. So yeah, so it tells me to travel to Shimmerine and Somerset. So you just go up to the map. And see, this is the nice thing is so here's the map. Here's everything I've explored, and you're just gonna go over here and click there, and so yeah, that's that. You know, it already has a shrine open to you for fast travel, so you don't need to do all this crazy stuff.
So
But-
how many hours have you already put into Somerset?
Oh God! I mean, well, for Somerset, you know, I did the preview, so I think I played it for about 12 hours.
Okay.
And yeah, it was enough to get the idea of the general lay of the quest and stuff.
And what else is new with it? Do you have new characters, new types?
You don't actually get like a new class and stuff, but what you do is you have a new skill line, which is the Sigic Order, and it has some really cool stuff like you can rewind time, which basically means that your health and mana rewind to what
Okay.
it were a few seconds ago and stuff. And you can also, which is nice, have a real it's like meditation, a steady healing ability where you just plop down and it starts healing.
And when you play, do you talk to people a lot?
I mean, I usually
Normal.
play with friends and
Yeah.
stuff. You probably saw that Bill from MMORPG.com just sent me a tale, and I felt like saying, "No, dude, I'm live." So that gives you an idea. But
Hey, you could throw Bill some love. Say, hey.
exactly. So yeah, as you can see, it's it's middle of the day on Monday, and yeah, I already got quite a few people. But
I hope Bill. I hope Bill's character name is just Bill.
right, it's I forget what it is actually. So, but yeah, I gotta. So the nice thing is, it's been around long enough that you've got some fan favorite characters in here, like Razumdar here, who is the Khajiit, like mercenary here. So
Yeah. We
yeah.
should make you one of these days. We'll make you role play everything out.
So yes. Yeah, okay, so I am seeing a slight problem. Generally, the game runs beautiful, but see how I get this box around my mouse? I keep hoping it'll go away, but it won't. And,
Yeah, that looks like a little bug.
yeah. So it's the Mac version. We're used to this.
So this is okay. Is this being released at the exact same time as the PC version?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, today both, and that's the nice thing about Macs and MMOs.
Yeah.
Macs actually get pretty nice treatment with MMO. Everybody says nobody makes games for Macs, but MMOs are actually quite good at that. Whether it's WoW, this Guild Wars 2, Final Fantasy 14, basically releasing the content at the same time, and so you do get to experience, and I think ZeniMax Online, which is kind of like a sister company of Bethesda, which makes this game. I think they're interested in talking to me about why they think that it's a nice effort to, why it's worth their time to work on the Mac and make these games release at the same time. But I got to say, this expansion is a real tonal shift from the last one. Morrowind, that was their call back to the game from, I believe, 2002, I'm going to say.
Uh-huh.
But it was one of my favorite RPGs. And it was, Morrowind was a really weird place. You had gigantic mushroom forest and dark elves who were racist as hell. And,
Why were they racist?
because they considered themselves higher than everybody else. And, they put, Argonians, who are the lizard people, into slavery, and were really annoying. I mean, it was pretty dark. So as now we're going into the land of the High Elves, where it's all pretty and stuff. Oh, and Morrowind, it had a gigantic volcano at the center of it, and there was this, dude had basically made himself a god. There was a tribunal of such people. And this is much more traditional fantasy, and that was one of the things that they were really banking on nostalgia there, because a lot of people loved Morrowind, and it's kind of like, yay, there's a Skyrim zone, yay, Morrowind and stuff. But with this season, we're actually kind of making original content, if you don't count 1994's Arena. So you're not as reliant on the nostalgia of, ooh, it's Morrowind and stuff. So that it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, and what the interest is. I can already tell, as much as I think they've done a great job on this. And again, this runs beautifully on my MacBook Pro. I'm not really sure if the interest is the same, because when I was looking around at the tweets for this and stuff, it just everybody was. You saw articles everywhere about here's what this looks like in Morrowind versus what it looks like in Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind, and people were all sharing Morrowind stories and stuff. Whereas this being new content, it doesn't have that immediate grab. But I think they were hoping that their goodwill was good enough after Morrowind that more people would be just interested in playing it. And it was also good time. Remember how I told you that in a lot of ways the game used to kind of suck? And I was actually an early supporter of it, but it could have been a lot better, and more people were wanting that kind of Skyrim feel and stuff. So a lot of people were not happy with it. It was really buggy at launch, but most MMOs are. And
so I have a quick question.
Yes.
As far as these MMOs go, why don't you give me what's your current favorite?
I mean, I go.
Order.
I mean, okay. Well, see, it's for different things. This, there are group activities in this, but in a lot of ways, this works just as well, as a single player Elder Scrolls game. So this is the kind of one that I like to bum around in. I think for story, Final Fantasy XIV is the best. They have a very epic story and stuff, but I'm an old hand, and I mean, we're in between expansions right now, so it's kind of a slow time. But I'm an old hand in WoW. I used to be in one of the biggest, most important guilds in the world, and that's actually how I made my name in the games industry. So I'll always be partial to that.
And where do you play Monster Hunter at all?
I didn't. It was right about I want to, and I've played I played a lot of the beta, but it released about the same time that I moved here, and
never got around to it.
Right, I never really got around to it, and I did have friends who wanted me to, but it was. And you might recall that I had garbage internet for about a month and a half there during the high point of interest. So it was, it wasn't really worth it. But
all right, so why don't you go do something? Are you doing anything?
I'm talking to you.
You're horsing around.
Yes, exactly. So let me say, okay. So here's the nice thing about this. You do have the overarching story to go on with, but much like the Elder Scrolls series in general, there's also places where you can just find a quest running around. So, I seem to remember there was this guy griping about how he couldn't visit the wineries over here, and so as you can imagine, it being all pretty and stuff like this, and elves, there's going to be wineries and stuff, but I don't really remember where that was. But and the funny thing is, it's kind of cool in some ways. You can't sometimes at immediate glance tell who's an NPC and who's a player. And I'm sure I could go toggle into the settings and change something to.
So everyone that's on this server now has Somerset.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes.
And if you didn't buy Somerset, you were not playing.
Right.
Okay.
And these are the people who pre-ordered specifically, or they got a code like I did. But and I gotta be honest, this is something I would have bought on my own, so that does show my interest. And let's see, but I don't remember. So some dead wolves. So, but
What current mission are you on?
Well, there was the main one. I wasn't. I was just
Side
trying
quest?
to. Yeah, I was trying to go point out that you can easily find a side quest, and it
Uh,
was funny. I just like randomly came across this when I was previewing, and that was actually what I started out my lead paragraph with. But now that I'm actually doing this, I can't find him at all. I actually wonder if they rearranged some things. But anyway, let's go to the city. Let's go on to the main quest, shall we? And I was trying to avoid spoilers because side quests aren't as spoilery. But
fair,
let's-
fair.
yes. So
One little guy.
yeah,
Let's do one little side quest.
and
Or one
getting
little
some
mission.
performance drops there.
You don't have a frame counter, do you?
No, I don't because Mac.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you do
yeah.
have it in Steam, just so everyone else knows it, Steam has a built-in one, which is very nice. So if I'm playing a Steam game, it's really easy. And but this one, I believe you can actually buy Elder Scrolls Online through Steam. But the funny thing, you actually have to use a different client in order to do that. And I bought this game before it was on Steam. So basically, in order to play it on Steam, I would have to buy it again, and no, I'm not up for that. So it's
Yeah, I've seen some dropped.
yeah.
Little drop frames here and there.
It's because we're getting busy. But, considering how
Yeah.
detailed this is, I'm actually impressed. We've been playing some other stuff on Mac on this show, and it has not been as impressive. So, considering, that is the Mac phrase, that you always play when you're using Macs is considering, yes. And so...
Yeah, the caveat.
Right, exactly. So, okay. So, let's go over here to the dock, shall we? Let's actually use my map instead of just assuming it would be at the top point in the...
And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post in chat.
Yeah, and I especially like to hear from people who, might have been turned off by the game when it launched and stuff, because it actually is one of the main MMOs these days. And, they really have turned it around to where it is actually one of the most popular ones that people play these days. And, but, I'd also like to hear stories from people who changed their mind about it, or possibly you thought it got worse, which I highly doubt. But let's see.
If someone was like kind of curious about some of these MMOs, what would be the first one you would recommend someone to like try out first?
I mean, this one is nice because there is zero need to rely on groups or anything like that. I mean,
Yeah,
there
okay.
are group activities, but it is really relaxed. And the thing is about this one is, if you want a group, it's always there. And a lot of people who come to MMORPGs come to it for that RPG factor. That's actually how
Yeah.
I got into it years ago. And so, if you already love something like Skyrim and stuff,
You can
which-
solo this, yeah.
yeah, if this gets you an idea, and then suddenly it's so this gives you an idea. His side quest I could just run across, and I like it because they feel really natural in this game, as opposed to just some guy standing around with a exclamation mark over
And
his
this
head.
one is there a monthly fee?
It is technically you can just buy it and you're done with it.
Okay.
Now, but the thing is, you do also have an ESO Plus, which gives you larger bags, and if you. I am currently gives you an idea. I'm currently not using my Plus. Actually, I think you get a free month of Plus with.
Okay, but it's not required.
It's not required.
That's good to know because I feel like that's always kind of been a hindrance
Mm-hmm.
for me. Is like I don't want to pay a monthly subscription.
Yeah, you can play this game just fine without a subscription. Also, another nice thing about the ESO Plus subscription, if you want to call it that, I don't think they like you to, is because of those very reasons. Is it gives you? I don't think it gives you chapters
Yeah.
like this, but the regular kind of like normal episodic content that comes out, you get it all free and locked with your subscription for the duration of it. And so otherwise, if you were just playing without a ESO Plus subscription, you would have to buy them incrementally. Now there's only been 2 of these, Morrowind and Somerset. These are huge. They technically are expansions. I don't think it's wrong to compare them to something like Legion and World of Warcraft, where this is meant to sustain you for like 2 years or something like that. With that type of, that content will be upgraded instead. No, that's why they call these chapters. They release
Okay.
a gigantic amount of content at once, and it would not. Well, I am going to be reviewing this, but it's not going to take me forever and a day to get through this. I think 2 weeks.
Do you think any of these bigger MMOs are going to move towards being free.
I mean, a lot have. You know, the MMORPGs are not as strong as they used to be, and the ones that are, you know, still around are the ones that, you know, managed to figure out the formula correctly. This one,
Yeah, but I mean, because like like people are starting to get used to more and more so, especially on like desktop computers versus. I mean, people have been used to on mobile at least, but like Fortnite is a full-fledged. I mean, I shouldn't say full-fledged because there's no single player that they give for free, but it's like they're allowing people to play for free, and then making their money off of items and skins and such.
Well, one thing I would say is that Fortnite, you know, is basically at its core basically a map. And you know, whereas this has got a lot more.
True, they don't have to develop a storyline or anything. Like
yes, and all these different. There are dynamic events that you'll come here. That was another thing I was looking for. There are anchors in here where you'll group up with other players and and fight these big war battles and stuff like that. So there's all that, and you have raids basically, and the Elder Scrolls Online version of them. And so there's a lot that goes into these, and it's persistent all the time. So it's I think those are big differences. So that's what's often been considered is it's kind of like it is a game as a service. And I remember back in the days when WoW was at its height, I was okay that just being that the only game that I'd play. I was fine paying the $15 a month. And because especially back then it really was kind of like a job, and it was your life in some ways.
I mean, $15 is it still $15 a month?
It is.
$15 a month. That's $180 a year.
And they also gave what is it? It was a nice thing for people who had given all their subscriptions in World of Warcraft for all the. So yeah, this is just like Elder Scrolls. The fun of seeing the books and stuff like that.
It's one of those things that, like, imagine if you had played for like 10 years. Be like, I what did I say? It's $180 a year. So I've been like, I spent $1,800.
I basically am one of those people.
Yeah.
Now the thing is a little bit after the Wrath of the Lich King, I got angry because somebody kicked me out of a group shortly after the thing. And
oh yeah, what'd you do?
I uninstalled the game. I quit my subscription. And mind you, like I said, I used to be a big deal.
You rage quit.
And I did not play again for about 8 months.
Well, what was the reason you got kicked out for?
Because this is when this is right after they had started the servers where they they had merged the servers in order to help with population problems, and so basically it made. But so you suddenly the way WoW used to work is you knew the people you were playing with, so there was this social pressure to be a nice guy. But after this happened, you were free to be a jerk. So I was taking too long to find my way back to this dungeon that none of us had ever been to, or they had been playing in beta, but I had never played before. And it was on the first day, and so I couldn't find my way back. And I apparently took too long, and they kicked me from the group. And
just from the group.
Yep. And well, it was a dungeon. We'd been in there for like 40 minutes and stuff, and we're close to the end. And
that got you to quit the game.
Yes, it did. And so the thing is I don't remember if I said this specific part, but they gave you little statues of the orc that's at Blizzard headquarters on the Wolf Mount, and for paying for all that time nonstop. And you apparently could have taken like a 3-month or 4-month break.
But you took too long of a break.
But I took too long, and I can't. I was a player since closed beta, and oh, that made me so sad. So, so back to Rosendar. Let me see if I can find one of these.
So what's the quest you're currently doing? I don't know what you're doing.
It's the Queen's Decree.
Okay.
There's been some monsters showing up from there's been some monsters showing up from the sea.
And have you killed them all?
No, and we're trying to figure out where they're coming from and
okay.
stuff. And so that's what I'm having to do is going around doing that. And so like many other games, you have crafting here. And the thing is about Elder Scrolls Online. Remember how I said that it adjusts to your level
Yeah.
and you can play. So there was a different log there than someone who was like level 1 would have seen. I'm seeing the very high.
A higher log, a better log.
Exactly.
A more difficult log.
So that's their way of adjusting the content so different people can play the same content. Is
Like only axes of a certain strength and a character of certain might can chop this log.
right.
There's something you just passed by. I will say it does appear that YouTube is slightly ahead of Twitter stream. So for when we do give away the code at the end of the show, you might want to be checking out YouTube. Hint for what that's worth.
Yes.
Was that the creature? Is that the creature you got to kill?
Well, I wasn't a creature I had to kill. I'm actually just going around chatting. It's just like you were saying with Pillars of Eternity 2. I can tell you're definitely not, I mean, this one is a lot more action-oriented, but, and I'm trying to find a dynamic event here. But no, this is just some random dude that I killed. And so we got some players here. So, yeah, you're starting to see, a little bit of a break from the crazy, from, the predictable trees and stuff that you would associate with, vanilla elves.
So the whole game just scales up with your character. Is that how it works?
Yes, and
so if you go to old areas, it's now scaled up to you.
Right, exactly,
Okay.
for you. And it's like I will have if I were like level 1. I would have a heck of a lot of harder time killing this guy.
Is it kind of like Destiny in a certain way?
Yeah, and the idea is that you're supposed to be able to, so you can help with you can play with your friends, and that was one thing they struggled along with because, that was everybody wanted was like co-op Skyrim, and then suddenly it's like I can't play with my friend because he's a level 5 and I'm a level 50, and when they introduced this patch, it was.
But now you can.
You can now. And,
that's always good.
Yeah, it is.
I prefer that kind of style.
So it's very, and like
I think
it's a I don't want casual is the wrong word to hear. It can be if you want it to. It is very much a drop in, drop out.
But I assume there's some very high level dungeon stuff.
Yes,
that
there
you
is.
do need to be part of a party, and you probably need to be at a minimum level.
Yes, and so even like I said, it took a long time to get to this 255. I believe there's some people that won't even let you in their guild for unless you're like 200.
Are you in a guild right now?
The nice thing is, gives you an idea about being kind of casual and stuff like that. You can be, I think, members of 4 or 5 different guilds, and I believe I'm a member of 3. One is a trade guild.
Why don't you give us the names? Give some shout outs to your guilds.
Well, one is like, they're like trade guilds and stuff like that. So that, so did I get
Do you know anyone?
The Tamriel Holding Company, which is my trading guild.
Okay.
Absolute Virtue and GSCH, which is actually some kind of Gaelic name that I don't know how to pronounce.
Do you know a lot of people in them?
Gosh, well, there's Bill Murphy from MMORPG.com. That's how I got my invite. And there's Joseph Bradford, who is actually writing the IGN review of this.
Okay.
So, he's in that guild too. So, it's, a lot of us reviewers kind of hang out together and stuff like that. And so, especially this one, it's really nice because you have someone to play with. In WoW, for instance, though, my guild goes back years and that. So, it's people that I know outside of the industry. So, it's... we've been playing together since like 2007 or something like that. So, so it depends on the game. But in this one, because it is so casual, guilds have a tendency not to stick together like that.
It's less critical.
Yes.
Oh, something just attacked you?
Yeah, it's probably another one of these guys again. So, but there are occasionally you will see these anchors that fall from the sky, and it's cool to have a dynamic event. But to me, they were too close to the anchors that they used in the first game, which was their way of dynamic events. And this is inspired by Rift and everything. And it's cool because suddenly, you'd be walking around here and there'd be something crazy that would happen here, and you have to fight off a boss, get loot and stuff. And it was a way of shaking up a very...
So did you discover what the problem was, where the monsters were coming from?
No, that's going to take the entire length of the expansion, but we can go back and go talk to Razum Dar. I was trying to do something more interesting than than show you talking to a cat man. So let's see. So, and I can't believe that I'm not seeing a dynamic event. But there's a lot of people on the server, and I have a feeling that has a lot to do with it. When it was just like me alone during closed beta, I saw them all over the place, and so there has to be like triggers for that.
Because that's where the better loot comes from, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, and the other cool thing about this is that you also see dungeons. That's one thing I can go into is show you a dungeon. They do these things called delves, and they're basically single-player dungeons, and I think they're one of the best things about Elder Scrolls Online. So it's very much like that Skyrim where you see I
never played Skyrim.
That is so crazy. Yeah. I can't believe that because that's such a common vocabulary among so many gamers. And
you remember I'm an odd gamer.
Right? Yeah.
I play like very few games, and I spend a long time on them, and I like strategy.
Well, see, the thing of it, about Skyrim is that it had very simplistic combat. They had and so it is basically the same controls here, like where you're blocking and stuff. So that keeps it simple.
Yeah.
But the nice thing here is, they do abilities here. Other nice thing is this game plays very well with a controller. That is not that rarely happens with MMOs. And see, I can easily switch weapons like this.
So you don't need as many
all those 50 billion abilities.
Commands,
yeah. MMOs usually have like 30 abilities, and it's only realistic to play them with
I guess that makes sense because Skyrim is, was console based, right?
I played it for PC. I played Morrowind on PC, but I traditionally associate. That's what makes those games last so long is the modding community, and Skyrim still is one of the most played games on Steam every day, and it came out in friggin' 2011. So that gives you an idea of how modding can do it. So yeah, up here is a raid. So Cloud Rest, that's one. So I'm basically, and you can see the map up here. It gives you an idea of what's in the area. But I'm basically looking for Delve, and those are the little single player dungeons. And you'll see other players in there, so it's kind of cool because sometimes the end bosses can be really tough, and it's nice to have someone else out there.
A little bit of help.
Yes. Yeah. And especially if you're newer. My character is really powerful, so it's there was a part of me that was kind of tempted to redo this. And I kind of play like a rogue character on this one, and I was thinking about, because this is a very mage-focused expansion, actually. I was thinking about, rolling a sorcerer or something to be more, scene appropriate. But the nice thing is that you can do that, and it is almost like, a new game of Skyrim, because I was like, I want to see this as a sorcerer. So boom, I can make this level 1 character as opposed to, having to, I have to be 50 levels higher in order to see the same content. And so it's kind of making me sad because it doesn't look like there is as many delves as you see in some of the other ones. Or maybe I'm just really unlucky with placement. I'm going in areas that I thought that I saw them in the last one. So, got a standpoint. So you can see on the map, like this tree just appeared. But what I'm basically looking for is like a torch and a cave, and that gives you an idea.
Yeah.
So there's Cloud Rest. So, I'll go in and take you into the raid here.
And this is not a delve. This is a full.
This is the full thing, and I will get my butt kicked. But
all right.
But yeah.
If you do, that'll be a good place to end the stream. So, just as a reminder, we will be giving away the code to redeem. Just one. We're going to announce it and reveal the code, and it'll be first come first. Whoever redeems it first. So the heads up is you should already create an account. Where do you create it? Just real quick.
Oh, yeah, you would go to account.elderscrolls.online.
Right.
If it's on my it's on the list.
So make sure you create an Elder Scrolls account if you want a better chance at winning it. It doesn't sound. I mean, we don't have a ton of live viewers, so there's a good chance. Yeah,
yes.
Your odds are pretty good.
Yes, so
better than most opportunities out there.
Right.
And in the future we will be doing giveaways, but this is kind of we're doing it this way to kind of skirt around some of the rules by it not officially being a giveaway. And on YouTube it does seem to be a little bit ahead. So if you want that a little bit of an advantage, you should check out the stream on YouTube/Macworld. That'll probably get you there. Yeah, and I mean, we're probably like I don't know, maybe 10 minutes less before we'll give that away. So heads up.
Oh wow!
All right.
So here's
A
a.
giant griffin. With some,
So yeah, this is definitely NPC. But yeah, this would be the trial, as they call them in here. And so as you can see, you know they really do hammer in on the lore because that's what people love about the Elder Scrolls series. So I like that it's not just like let's run from boss to boss. You really are kind of enjoying the lore of it. So here's a boss. This looks like some serious stuff. I'm gonna totally get my butt kicked, but woo, go invisible.
and there's no one helping you out here.
No, there's not. Yeah, there's supposed to be a lot more people in here. Let's see. Yeah, boom. So yeah, there you go. That was the first boss of the.
Okay.
So,
What's the penalty for dying?
you know, I just you went back to the race shrine. You lose some gold and stuff,
Okay.
and basically you got to go back. It's
Do you have to? You don't have to like get your body.
no, you can see.
Yeah.
You can, I believe, if you want, but I just ran. You know, did
Do you
the
get
race
like
shrine.
some of your money back if you actually go get your body?
No,
you don't get anything.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that gives. Oh, that's right. I'm still in the instance, but yeah. So yeah, let's go back out into the world.
Do they have a nightmare mode? You know, where like
no.
okay.
Basically, the nightmare mode is don't wear such good gear. So-
or like where you
oh,
a
you mean
permadeath,
for the raid?
like
oh,
a permadeath.
No. Oh no, not for the MMO. Yes, and yeah.
And is it big PvP or not really?
They do actually have a zone. It's based on Oblivion, which is the one, and basically this zone actually is entirely PvP. And you go around and you take different fortresses and stuff. And,
But it's not a major component of the game.
It is.
Oh, okay.
You can spend your entire time in this area if you want to, and some people do that really love PvP. And with Morrowind, they actually for the first time introduced battlegrounds like what you see in WoW, which are kind of like capture the flag and stuff like that. So that spiced it up. To me, they were really imbalanced. It was just. I would go in there and you would just get. Oh, here's a griffin. Let's see how.
Your fox friend is not doing much.
I think that's just a random fox.
No,
Or
you've
is
had some animal
Oh.
following you around the whole time.
Oh, there you go. Like I said, these are actually quite tough. There we go.
See?
Okay, so
that's your
yes.
fox friend.
So so yeah. Also with your code, you also do get you get some crates, so you get some cool stuff, and this is their other way of getting money, from you, especially if you're not doing it. So you get these crates which have stuff. So it's basically like loot crates. So
Gotta have the loot crate.
I gotta have the loot crates. So let's see what I got here. So. And usually there's at least one cool thing in there. Most of it's, yeah. So I guess this one's it. And so I think, you just get one. That's right. You just get one with the collector's edition. So boo, and I got that. And that was what they were talking about, that you get that memento. So yeah, let me see if I can get that. That's the toy that I was talking about, that you get a toy, and they call it a memento. Let's see. I'm actually used to playing this with a gamepad. So I'm like, Oh, that's right. It's over here. So mementos, and where was it? Here it is. Okay. So, yeah. And yeah, that's it.
That's
this,
it?
Yes.
That's what you got?
Right.
You just gotta like bring up a purple orb.
Let me see if I get the mount that you show. It's a toy. That's basically what I meant. And so let's see here. Let's go back to what I keep going to that. So what I want to do is show the mount that you get now. So
So this is a different mount.
yes, and I believe this is it. Yeah, and you get you'll get this mount with the.
It's a little baby pony. Oh.
No, it's not. It's yeah. So
Yes, a blood horse.
blood horse. Yes, and
It'd be funny if there was like a little toy horse.
And let's see here. Let's see. We look at the toy. I believe it is. So that was a non-combat pet. So yeah, I have a jackal. That's what that is. And fledgling griffin.
Okay.
That's what it is. That's the. So yeah, that's the little. Yes.
Does it just follow you around,
It
or
just follows you
it doesn't
around.
attack?
It's a non-combat.
Okay. Another
No.
guy. He just respawned. So
Yeah,
he just like kind of dropped
right.
from the sky.
So yeah, that's the other big difference with for stuff. The stuff respawns in Elder Scrolls. It's just, I mean, like Skyrim, it's just
Yeah.
not as quick. Oh,
Oh, I did not think you were gonna die.
I didn't either.
All right. Well, I think that's probably a good point to.
Go down to the code.
Well, before we go to the code, so let me switch back to your face.
Okay.
Let's like we say that this is impressions. So what are your big impressions?
Well, look at there. Look at there. See up on the
You
thing
want me
there.
to- all right, I'll switch to you.
There's a friggin' delve there. What I was talking about the.
I just launch into it real quick, but we won't go through it all.
Right, exactly.
Let's just see
So
what it looks
anyway,
like.
but the point is that I played it. I've already played a lot of this, and it was a lot more dynamic and stuff when I was playing it. And it's funny when you're actually hunting for stuff, it doesn't go well. But I do actually, I was actually not that excited about Somerset because I was like, elves, boring. But they actually did manage to do some interesting stuff with the story, and you kind of see the dark side of what makes all this possible and stuff, and you kind of see that it's built on some kind of unhappy things, and the dynamic events when you can actually find them are pretty fun. I think the delves are actually kind of creative. Usually in a lot of the old Elder Scrolls online delves, it's basically pretty formulaic, like I'm doing here. Ironically, you go into a cave and you go kill some stuff,
And then there's like a little mini boss at the end.
yes, and
Yeah.
there was some cool, like there was one on the other side of the island that I ended up going to during my preview, in which you actually went to another island. You got onto a boat and you went somewhere else to go rescue some people, and I thought that was cool because it was breaking up that format. Usually in a delve you have a quest, and so she needs her notes, and because people in Elder Scrolls like to chat, you can do all that, but nah, also. And see, the other nice thing, like, remember how I said you can
Yeah.
see other players in here?
So maybe it's already been cleared out of baddies.
Oh, but they respawn pretty quickly. But it looks like he probably did clear off some of most of the stuff here. But no, I generally have it. Give you an idea, too, of your Mac Pro battery drain. I started this on a full battery, and now I'm getting the warning that my battery is running low. So
All right.
that gives you an idea.
Like I said, it's a perfect time. All right,
It
so
is
we'll
a
switch back
perfect
to you.
time. All right.
And
So okay. So
so
we're.
you're pleasantly surprised by
Yes.
this game.
I enjoy it, and keep in mind that it is basically let's have some RPG fun. It does follow a lot of the same stuff as the Elder Scrolls Online did. The Sigic Order quest line is actually pretty cool, and if I'd been thinking right, doing the trippy Sigic Order tutorial quest in which you see all these neurons and everything going around, that probably would have been cool. But
So yeah, just real quick, in a couple minutes or in a minute, we'll be giving away the code. Not giving away, we'll be revealing the code. And so make sure you're logged into your accounts. You've already created it. I would recommend watching the YouTube or at least from my computer, the YouTube stream seems to be ahead. I would probably double check yourself just to make sure you get giving yourself every advantage that you can. And in the future, again, we'll be doing more giveaways. But any last thoughts before we do that?
No, it's really fun, and I think they've really shown that they know what to do with the property. And a lot of people were skeptical at first, but this actually has turned into one of my favorite MMOs, and it's especially nice one to log into at any time. Whereas so many other MMOs like WoW, Final Fantasy 14 are totally dependent on release schedules. You want to be as close to the release as you can. No. Morrowind, all that stuff, it's still as good and fun now, and you'll see as many people there as you did a long time ago, and that's one of the great things about this. And it's more of the same in some ways, but it's good. The same is very good. And so anyway,
All
there we
right,
go.
you can get it ready, and then I'll switch us over.
And so there you have it,
All right.
folks. That's
All right.
the code.
I'll switch you over.
So basically, go on to account.elderscrollsonline.com.
I like that you put it here because at this point, if someone's going, "Oh, redeem," they're probably too slow.
Yes, exactly. That's I thought about not even putting it in there, but I'm just that nice.
But yeah, so this is the first of hopefully many giveaways.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, eventually we'll do it more officially in the future through an actual mechanism, so that like it won't just be maybe if you watch live, we'll give away like one extra code, or like one extra entry, I guess, so to speak.
Right.
We're figuring that part out, but any final thoughts, and what do we expect in the future for Apple Arcade?
Well, definitely next week. I should hope it will be next week. We'll do the Steam Link, and we'll show you how to, take games from a Mac or a PC and play it on your iPhone, your iPad, your Apple TV. We have all that in house. I don't know why we didn't get a big code for it, but yes, once that goes live, we'll show it. It's already available on Android, and it's kind of interesting because iOS usually gets the gaming stuff first, but in this case, because Apple was dragging its feet, went to Android first. But we'll try that out next show. I'm actually very interested in doing it. I use the Steam Link for PC stuff occasionally. It's very lightweight stuff, but in this case, I had Dan here actually bringing a Steam Link from home to show you what you don't have to use. You just apparently just need the app nearby, and it needs to be on the same Wi-Fi network. I thought it was more complex than that, so that's pretty cool, and it'd be really cool if we could actually play it. So hopefully that will be released by next Tuesday, and
or this week, or maybe by the end of the week.
So yeah, would you be up for another show this week? I mean, it's so. But yeah, that will be our next show for sure, and unless Apple really holds off on releasing that.
And we'll have Macworld podcast on Wednesday. So that's about it, right?
Yes, and then we're also going to try to start giving away stuff on the Mac, not game themed stuff, but other stuff on the Macworld podcast today. Stay tuned for that because we're still waiting through that little.
Yeah, subscribe on YouTube.
Yes.
Follow us on Twitter. Yeah. We don't have a mail option, but send us postcards from around the world.
Definitely, I'm always interested for that. So. I hope you have time to enter it. And so, yes, just one more time, MDH7CC5FEHMT7JL9C95.
And if you won, let us know. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Later. Bye-bye. And good luck.